Welcome into King's Table, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about the new Ant-Man and Wasp trailer that just dropped.
Today.
Some Lego stuff. You got some big news on that.
Lego
well,
news.
It might not be big for them.
No.
And we are also going to get into the Cloverfield universe, which I know you're going to be talking mainly about Lego. I'm going to be talking about Cloverfield. That's coming up on Nerd News. Check it out, guys.
Cool.
So, the Ant-Man and Wasp trailer just dropped today.
Yes, it did.
Did you check it out?
Of course it did.
And what do you think?
When I first saw Ant-Man, the first movie, I really wasn't that excited about it. It's kind of an underrated movie. After I walked out of there, I'm like, it was really good.
Paul Rudd's
so
great.
I was pretty excited about seeing the trailer for the next one.
Yeah, I loved the trailer. I mean, I am a huge fan of Evangeline Lilly from Lost.
Definitely.
So hot.
I thought she retired.
So she keeps saying that. And then she did a whole bunch of like shampoo commercials, and now she's back.
Yeah.
And she looks great as the Wasp. The suit looks cool. But my favorite part is the villain. Did you see the villain in the trailer?
I did not.
So it's the quick snip, the person in the hood, and a whole cybernetic suit, and that is. Do you know who the villain is?
No, I don't know. I don't know much about Ant-Man.
So the villain is Ghost, and Ghost is. It's going to be different this time because it's actually a woman. So they took it, but it's in the comics. It's a character that like connects with like this new type of microchip technology that makes them like the ultimate hacker, and they can talk to computers and stuff. So it's going to be dealing with the same sort of thing again, cybernetics, reality, like how the future, and that's what Ant-Man did so well is bringing in a lot more of the new tech that it wasn't just Tony Stark in charge of it.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing that Marvel does right is to explain a lot of their characters, the suits and stuff. They go into their own types of reality like the comics, and they actually make it look well. They don't just make it like that's one of DC's problem, no offense, but it's just a god that's overly CGI that fights them. This one is actually villains that could be people that created something,
a little bit more realistic.
Exactly.
It's still fantasy, still enough sci-fi there that but it's still like, oh, that's a plausible thing that could actually happen.
But this was one of the best teasers I think they've released in a while, and I think anybody can almost make a good trailer these days. I think if you edited down this show, you can make an epic trailer that would look like that. You know what I mean? And that's something the joy of editing has is you can cut out bad parts and make everything look great. But the reason they did it right is one, just the scene where you see the name pop up looks very old school comics. It was really good. The comedy's still going to be there from Paul Rudd and the
Paul
team.
Rudd was great.
But also, they showed you enough in the teaser where it was more about the music and just the action sequences, and he's in trouble, but we're going to find out why.
Right.
And they're almost blaming him. There's some flashbacks, so I think it's going to help connect even more of Infinity War, which is going to be great, even though that comes out first, because this comes out in July. Oh. So what we got
afterwards?
Yeah, so we have Black Panther next month. We have Infinity War in May, and then we have July.
So
and then after that we have Captain Marvel. So
spoiler: Ant-Man makes it.
He could.
That's the thing. Unless this takes place before Infinity War.
And I haven't really researched that enough. But I mean, I think we know all of them are going to make it, or almost all of them are going to make it into the part 4. I mean, the last Avengers.
There's still rumors of his death's not even going to be a
there's going to be deaths, but we'll see. Yeah. But no, looks great. Excited to see it. We'll be going seeing it, and I know we'll do a review on it.
Oh,
of course.
For sure.
So on that note, what are you going to teach us today about Lego? What's going on?
So Lego, the company, has announced that they're going to be laying off 8% of their company by the end of this year.
Worldwide?
Worldwide.
Why?
Their profits and sales are dropping drastically.
Okay.
And there could be a lot of reasons as to why that is happening. A lot of people are saying it's Lepin, Mr. Lepin. All the knockoff stuff are coming out.
Love Mr. Lepin.
And people are just buying that because it's dirt cheap. Lepin is telling people what it really costs to produce and make this stuff. It's nothing. Now, there's a whole debate just there, but we'll get into that in another time. But also, I think it's a lot to do with the fact that Lego is just putting out the same stuff over and over and over again. The same sets, like every single year. It's just different figures, slightly modified, but usually it's a smaller amount, and they're charging so much more for these Lego sets. Like that, I was excited for this Lego set that was coming out for the Last Jedi. It was a BB-8 figure. Mm-hmm. They did a R2-D2 one several years ago. It was like R2-D2 was like this big.
Oh, I saw the BB-8 one.
Yeah, there's a BB-8 one, and it's like half the size, way less than half the pieces.
It wasn't only like this big?
Yeah, it's super. It's like it's like about 6 inches tall. It's $100.
Yeah.
$100 set. And it was like, I think 500 pieces or some like crazy thing like that. It's stupid the way that Lego is charging for these sets. And people, it's no wonder why people are trying to find an alternative way to get the same sort of thing for a fraction of the cost, aka Mr. Lepin and some of these other companies. So it's going to be interesting to see the longevity of Lego. I know as a store owner, my sales of Lego have plummeted too. So maybe it's just people are just losing interest altogether in Lego.
Well, don't we always see ebbs and flows of businesses though? Like Lego, was always big when we were kids, and then I don't remember hearing about it much when I was getting older, mainly because I was getting older and liking girls more than Legos.
Right. Well, in the late '90s, 1999 came out. Lego was pretty much going to go bankrupt in that the late '90s, early 2000s. It wasn't until they got their first official licensed theme set, and that was Star Wars. Star Wars came out at the right time, and it saved the company.
Okay.
And Star Wars is still one of the longest running, actually is the longest running licensed Lego sets out there. And if it wasn't for them, the company would have just gone completely under and it would not even be existent. But now we're in a day where geek world stuff, like, you know, all this comic books and sci-fi stuff, it's all like, it's now. Everyone is into it and everyone loves it. So the market is just bombarded and flooded with all this stuff, and I think people might just be getting burnt out.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like the market's so saturated now. I'm over it. Like, because with Lego Batman the movie coming out and all that, I know it was fun, but like now it seems like everybody goes, as soon as they make a movie, they're like, let's make a Lego version, and then let's make a Lego toy, and let's make a Lego movie version, and a Lego trailer, and a Lego video game. To where I'm like, I don't love Lego that much, and already, like, I went shopping with my daughter the other day, and she had a gift card to the store we were at, and she's like, I want to go look at Legos. And I was like, all right. And I just prepared her before we got down the aisle that it's expensive.
It's really expensive.
She had a $25 gift card. She's 9 years old. So she found the only set she could get was this big, and it was one little character. And she's like, that's all I can buy? I was like, well, yeah, I mean, and I was going to get her something else too. But the set she wanted was $98 for the Legos Friends. Right. And I'm like, and you still I can't justify it. No.
You don't get that much in them.
No, because you build it once, and I mean, it's great, but it's like, I don't know. I would rather just have other toys at this point, or go buy Mr. Lepin, because the quality of the brick might be a little cheaper. And yeah, I know they don't have to pay the marketing ads and the people designing and all that other stuff and that backside argument. But I can also save almost 100% sometimes or more.
Yeah.
And now I get why they're cutting 8%, which 8% doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, but when you're a huge company, that's a lot of people getting laid off.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's a lot.
And I don't think that's going to relate savings to the consumer. I don't think with that 8% layoff, they're just covering their own losses, so the Lego sets aren't going to get less expensive.
If anything, they're going to go up.
Yeah, and so I think they need something to save them. I think the movies and stuff did well, but I think the market's saturated.
It is. It's very saturated. Because there was a day when I first started, that's all I did. I only bought and sold Lego. And then I opened the store, and then it was still doing great. But ever since then, in the last 4 years, it's just been a steady decline. Now I can't even really move it at all.
Do you sell? You can't sell Lepin or anything, right? Or can you?
No, I can sell Lepin.
Okay, do you sell that more? Or
in the beginning,
they're both declining.
They're both, because in the beginning I carried both. And yeah, Lepin moved way faster because it was a fraction of the cost of regular Legos. Okay. You know, like a $20 Lego figure, I can sell the same Lepin figure for like $2, or $1. So there's that. So it's interesting to see, just what's going to happen.
Well, maybe they need some Cloverfield Lego.
Some
ARG Lego marketing. I want to get into the Cloverfield universe. Me and you were talking on the side, and you're not really like you own the first one, but you've never really seen it, or
I've never seen it. I remember seeing the trailer when it first came out, and it looked really cool. And then I didn't get to go see it. And then when it came out, everyone said it was horrible. I'm like, no, I still want to see it. And everyone kept telling me it was bad, it was bad, it was bad. You'll throw up watching it. And then and then I bought it and I never watched it.
So I love the film. When it first came out, I remember it was one of the best viral marketing ARG.
It was amazing.
Yes. Or I thought it was going to be a Voltron film. I thought it was a new Godzilla film. I fell down every rabbit hole on the internet and fell for every trick too. Yeah. Saying it's this, it's that. And then it came out and I went to see it. And at first I was a little like, okay, because it's all like footage, like me and you go out and film a monster, with our own camera. Yeah. So that's like why people threw up. Yeah. Great monster though. And so now this has created the whole Cloverfield universe, because we can't just have one film. Everything has to be connected now and all that. So the second one came out a couple years ago, 10 Cloverfield Lane, which actually wasn't a Cloverfield film.
Wow, I didn't see that either.
See, and
'Cause
that
I hadn't seen the other one. I thought they tied in together. So, like, I still need to watch the first one before I see that one.
honestly, you can tell that they're not connected.
Really?
If you watch it. And spoiler alert, because people probably haven't seen it, but it's based in a basement with John Goodman, one of my favorite actors and one of his best movies ever. And it's, so what J.J. Abrams did is he bought this film to help produce it. And then at the very end, like the last 10, 15 minutes, you're like, oh, there's aliens, and that's how it's connected. But the whole movie, you can see how it is, and we all knew it was based on the viral marketing and how the name Cloverfield was in the title.
Right.
And so the third one comes out, and it's owned by Paramount, and it just got bought out by Netflix. So it's God Particle, or it's going to be called Cloverfield Station. We don't really know, so we're just, there's a whole bunch of names on the internet for it. It was supposed to be released April 20th.
Okay.
This is another film that was written by somebody else that J.J. Abrams and Paramount took over and then just attached Cloverfield to it, and they're going to make it tie into it a tiny bit. And so they're being smart, like based on money and marketability, on how to connect these films, because they actually aren't even writing their own films. They're just getting films, buying them, filming them, and then putting maybe a few scenes in the end or beginning or whatever to connect it, and then the name, and that's it. But the coolest thing they do is their ARG marketing content, where alternate reality gaming. So that one's been launched for Cloverfield, and it's I've been going on it, and it's on the websites, and Tagarato is the main. It gets deep, Chris. It gets real deep. But the other cool part is, so we're gonna get that, and hopefully it's gonna be sooner now that it's gonna go to Netflix. Cloverfield 4 is already finished filming. And Cloverfield 4 Overlord, do you know what that one's going to deal with?
No idea.
Nazi zombies.
Do
you see why this is hard to connect?
So is that going to be like a Netflix one too? Or is that going to go into theaters?
That's what we're waiting to see as well, because I guess J.J. Abrams has been filming this project since last year. I think last March.
I think I know what he's trying to do. You remember watch Heroes, right?
Yeah.
So that was originally just supposed to be like a season and tells one story.
Exactly.
And do another story, but under the same kind of similar storyline, like of the whole Heroes type
sort
thing.
of like
so I wonder if that's what he's trying to do with Cloverfield.
Sort of like American Horror Story, where the first season's this, but the second season's something totally different, but they're sort of connected.
Never seen it.
So the first story is about a haunted house, and then another series was about like a circus. And
but they're all still connected.
I think they're all going to sort of be connected. I'm interested to see the third one, God Particle. I've been excited for that for a while because it's about like where we use a particle accelerator and we make the Earth disappear, apparently, from what I've read. The fourth one, though, I'm not into zombie flicks, really. I just never have been. It's about Nazi zombies where, and I guess they're at war in France, and they go to investigate something and find out there's zombies everywhere. But I understand how it could be connected. But my favorite part is, one, the ARG and the marketing. But the next part is how I think they're actually doing this a smart way in Hollywood. Instead of having a bunch of writers come in and write 6 films for one series, they're going out and helping people that aren't noticed, like writers that have never been noticed, and buying their film. And that happens all the time. But then they're just attaching it to this and adding a few things, editing, to make it connected to this universe. And I'm very interested to see where it's going to go. I hope it doesn't flop, and I hope it doesn't do bad. I don't think it going to Netflix is a bad move, because they also own Annihilation and a bunch of other films Paramount's coming out, and they're going to be doing this thing where they know the future's streaming and that and being at home. Just like football games or any sporting event, most people like to watch at home now because you get a better experience. You can go to the bathroom when you want. You can pause it. Just like the theater. I love going to the theater for the experience, but I also hate listening to teenagers talk, bad popcorn, and, if I have to go to the bathroom, I can't pause the movie. And so I think I'm very interested to see where this is going to lead, but I'm just amazed that 3 and 4 are already done, and we're just waiting for them to be released.
True.
Well, that's the nerd news this week, guys. Be sure to tune in next week, as this will be happening more often, more regularly, of the stuff coming out, all the geek stuff. Tell us, anything that you guys want to chat about. We're willing, getting down in the comments with you, and we will see you next week on another episode of Nerd News King's Table.
See you guys.